In 1998, a rescue team entered Black Hollow Forest to find a missing family. They never came back. 5 years later, a radio tower deep inside the forest suddenly started broadcasting again. The strange part? The voices coming from the tower belonged to people who had been dead for years. What investigators discovered inside Black Hollow became one of the most terrifying unsolved mysteries ever recorded.
October 1998. Black Hollow Forest sat deep in the mountains of Montana. The locals feared it, not because of wild animals, not because people got lost, but because strange things happened there. Compasses spun in circles. GPS signals vanished. People reported hearing voices calling their names from empty woods. Most ignored the stories until the Carter family disappeared. Michael Carter, his wife Sarah, their 2 children. They entered the forest for a weekend camping trip. None of them returned. Police searched for days. Nothing, no bodies, no camp, no car, no evidence. It was as if they had vanished from reality itself. The case became national news, but after months without clues, it went cold. 5 years later, a storm hit the region. During the storm, an abandoned military radio station suddenly activated. The signal spread across several counties. Radio operators began receiving strange transmissions. At first, it sounded like static. Then came voices, crying, screaming, whispers. One operator nearly collapsed when he recognized a voice. It belonged to Michael Carter, the missing father. The recording was analyzed. Experts confirmed it wasn't fake. It appeared to be a live transmission. But Michael Carter had disappeared 5 years earlier. Authorities immediately launched an investigation. A special team entered Black Hollow Forest. 8 people, experienced investigators, armed, equipped with cameras, drones, satellite phones, everything. The mission was simple: find the source of the signal. The deeper they traveled, the stranger things became. Their equipment malfunctioned. Battery levels dropped instantly. Cameras captured shadow-like figures moving between trees. Whenever they approached, the figures vanished. Then they found something impossible: a child's bicycle, covered in moss. The Carter family's missing bicycle, exactly where it had been left 5 years earlier. Yet it looked untouched by time, almost new, as if 5 years had never passed. That night they set up camp. At 2:13 a.m., one camera recorded something terrifying: a tall figure standing between the trees, motionless, watching. It appeared nearly 8 feet tall. Its limbs were unnaturally long. Its face was completely black. No eyes, no mouth, no features, just darkness. When investigators noticed it, the figure slowly stepped behind a tree and disappeared. They searched the area. Nothing. No footprints, no tracks, no explanation. But from that moment onward, they realized they were not alone. The signal eventually led them to an underground bunker, hidden beneath the forest, buried for decades. Inside were old military documents. Most were destroyed, but a few pages remained. The papers described a classified experiment, Project Echo, an attempt to communicate with alternate dimensions. Scientists believed certain frequencies could open temporary gateways between realities. The experiment began in 1972. 3 weeks later, everyone inside the facility disappeared. The government sealed the bunker and erased the project from history, or so they thought. Deeper underground, the team discovered a massive chamber. At its center stood a machine, still running, after decades, emitting the same frequency heard on the radio. Then something happened. The walls began vibrating, the lights flickered, and a doorway appeared, not a physical door, a tier in reality itself. Beyond it was another version of the forest, dark, dead, silent. One investigator stepped through. Seconds later, he began screaming. The team rushed after him. What they found froze them in horror. Hundreds of people stood motionless among the trees. Missing hikers, campers, children, entire families, all staring toward the sky, completely still, like statues, yet somehow alive. Among them stood the Carter family, unaged, exactly as they appeared 5 years earlier. Michael slowly turned toward the team, then whispered, "You shouldn't have opened it again." Suddenly, every person in the forest looked directly at them. At the exact same moment, thousands of eyes, watching, smiling. The ground shook violently, and the sky above began cracking like broken glass. The investigators realized the horrifying truth. These weren't survivors. Something else was wearing their faces. Creatures emerged from the darkness, imitating human voices, human faces, human emotions. But they weren't human. The team ran. Several members vanished. Others were dragged into the shadows. Only 2 investigators reached the portal. As they escaped, they looked back. The creatures were standing silently at the edge, watching, waiting, as if they knew they would return. The surviving investigators destroyed the machine. The portal collapsed. The bunker was sealed forever, or so everyone believed. 6 months later, one survivor received a radio transmission. A weak voice emerged from the static. It was his own voice, speaking from the future. Only 3 words were heard before the signal ended. "It's still open." The next morning, the survivor disappeared. His front door remained unlocked. The radio was still playing, and from somewhere deep within the static, a child could be heard laughing.